watching Let's Chat.
Again, welcome back to the annual Super Bowl Sports Spectacular here on News 12. I'm sitting alongside Jim Reynolds from Talk 102.3, Daryl Patterson, who was a sports broadcaster at one of those other stations for years and is now sort of on retainer here and is with the Sports Hall of Fame. Here's a man beholden to no one on earth except for Diane, and that is Coach Buddy Nix. Good to see you guys. Very quickly, before we get into the offenses and the quarterbacks, such huge money on the table this year. How has gambling changed the face of the Super Bowl now that most states have legalized gambling of some sort?
Well, I don't know if it's changed the game per se. Everyone likes, I guess, to have a little bit, a dog in the hunt, so to speak. And now it's so easy to do. You go on your phone, you hit an app, you have a bet, as the game goes on, you could change your situation or whatever. So it just gets more people involved, and it may keep them to the end of the game. I'll say that. It might help the TV ratings a little bit. Because if I've given up a point and a half, or whatever it is, or I have a bet on who's going to hit the crossbar, I may hang around a little bit longer.
Daryl.
I think the same thing. And what I'd be interested to know is from Buddy, who has been in the big chair.
Yeah.
How does that affect players? I mean, the NFL is so insistent on the fact you guys stay away from that gambling stuff. You can't do this, you can't do that. Be careful. Is it even more so now that the NFL does that, or do they let one slide if Mahomes puts $1 million on the game?
If Mahomes puts $1 million on the game, he'd be out of it. They don't make exceptions for that, but I don't think it affects the players. I really don't. And they know to stay away from that, and I don't think it affects the game.
It's amazing because they're estimating now that $16 billion going to be wagered on Sunday's game alone. $16 billion.
You got to figure that amount affects everybody, but
that's double what was wagered last year.
Wow.
And like Jim said, it's so easy now.
Yeah, it is.
More and more states are opening up. Before you went to Vegas or you went.
Now you just got to go to your phone.
MLK,
Yeah, right.
Now you just got to go to your phone.
Let me call my bookie. You don't do that anymore. Let me get my phone. Let me get the app, and I'll.
Both teams have got the exact same record: 14-3 in the regular season, 16-3 overall. And as Coach Nix and I were talking, I think you and I covered this base earlier. Tightest game I can ever remember. Point spread of 1.5.
Right.
Can you remember a tighter game?
No, and I can't remember a more evenly matched game when you really look at it.
Daryl.
I 100% agree. I think so.
Jim.
Yeah, we're as close to a toss-up, I think, as you can get. I think it's going to come down to who's healthy. Coach Nix was talking about off the air, the 2 weeks giving you an opportunity to, to heal. Is Mahomes' ankle good? Is shoulder okay, and all that kind of stuff? So I think the 2 weeks. I think that thing that we didn't see on film. Who's the healthiest going in right now?
And I think there's a lot we're not hearing about who's healthy and maybe who's not healthy leading up to the game.
I promise you, there's.
I was going to say.
What do you think, Daryl?
No, I wouldn't think that. I wouldn't think that anybody
would hold
in the
that
National
back?
Football League would.
What do you think that balloon over the country was all about? They were checking those training camps.
Well, now that,
good answer.
Now that Tom Brady is supposedly retired, this time for good,
for a week,
is this going to make Patrick Mahomes the undisputed star of the NFL?
I think he already was.
Do you really?
About 2 years ago.
I'll give you that. I just think there's such a good crop of young guys coming
Ain't
up.
no question about that.
I think this next generation with Aaron Rodgers, his situation, but he's certainly in the twilight, and Tom Brady, taking this year off. I think the young group coming up is really just fun to watch.
Yeah, and they're the best probably that I've seen in a long time.
And how much of it has to do with the style of play in the NFL?
Well,
that's changing. It's the drop-back quarterback that stays in the pocket like Brady is kind of an antique anymore. You've got Mahomes, you've got
if you can get one like Joe Burrow, he's a pocket passer. Then that's what you got. You got to win from the pocket. If you're strictly an out-of-the-pocket guy, they'll force you to stay in.
Right.
You can't get out. So if you can't beat them from in the pocket, and Mahomes can. Now, I'm not sure about Jalen. We'll see.
But those guys that run so much, they get hurt all the time. You can't take that pounding, I don't think.
Well, there's a difference in Lamar Jackson now than Mahomes and I mean, those guys will beat you throwing. Lamar probably can't if you made him stay in the pocket. Now, he's going to get hurt. Josh Allen plays like a linebacker.
Yes.
So he might.
All right, we're going to talk a little bit more about the quarterbacks and explore some of the more in-depth nuances, if you will, of both the defenses and the offenses when we return with more.
I love nuances.
Nuances are good. Been waiting to use that word all day.